Welcome to the Undercovers podcast. I'm Ben, along with Jenna and Paul. And unfortunately, Tommy's out tonight. So just thoughts and prayers of Tommy as he, he's going through some stuff right now, but he's recovering. He'll be back with us next week. We do have his game picks. So when we do get to that segment, we'll still have his picks. So we'll be able to go over everyone's record. But on to week 2 as the Bills are 0-1. And guys, how are we feeling after a very it was an interesting game, but ultimately it was not a fun one. Just a real roller coaster between the Rodgers injury, Wilson having to go in, Allen, made some mistakes, but the Bills had a chance in the end, and then just a brutal special teams mistake in overtime, and the Jets walk it off in overtime. Crazy game. And right now the Bills are 0-1 at the bottom of the AFC East standings. Definitely not how you want to start the season, but just week 1. So how are we feeling after that loss?
Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated with it, but I also see the brighter side of things. I think that it's good that something like this happened early in week 1, so then they can fix their mistakes and, get a better game plan if this happens again. I think if once Josh has those turnovers in other games, then he's going to get yelled at by Sean. He's probably going to get corralled by Dorsey in the headset. So there's lessons to be learned from this, but it is really frustrating when your quarterback doesn't see the guys that are open on the field and he instead just wants to chuck it 60 yards down there to whoever, thinking that he can, just kind of throw it away or that there's a play to be made, but there's really not. When probably the best play is just to run for the first down. We saw that on the all-22. He had maybe 10 yards ahead of him of open field. Yeah, the safety or corner was coming down. They probably would have tackled him. You have a sideline to protect yourself and to run out. Worst case, you get pushed. You get 15 yards, So when is it enough? When is he going to learn from his mistakes? And, like everybody's been saying, he needs to grow up. This is his 6th season. We all know what comes with Josh Allen is that he's going to be that gunslinger who just throws the ball around. He's going to make some mistakes. High risk, high reward. But, when does it – I want to see less than 10 turnovers. Maybe at most 12 interceptions. 12 turnovers are just be smart with the ball. We invested in the offensive line in the offseason. He needs to trust it. Because there's times when the pocket collapsed and maybe he needed to get out, but other times, just take the check down. Don't run out. Don't force the ball into triple coverage to freaking Jordan Whitehead. What is he thinking? I just wish that he would be smarter after everything that he's talked to this offseason, saying that he's going to be smart with the ball. He's going to increase his completion percentage. So where is that? Actually, it's really funny because, sorry, I'll let you guys talk in just a moment, but it's funny because his completion percentage was 71%, and he had 3 turnovers, 3 picks. Imagine how much better it would be if he didn't have those. And
right.
You could have just thrown it out of bounds. That's not going to affect the 71%. It's freaking hilarious though. Like, cool, you got over 70% completion percentage. That's elite. But you threw 3 picks. I'll turn it over to you guys though.
Monday just was, like Ben said right in the open, it was a roller coaster of emotions. It certainly was not expecting it to be that stressful right at the end. I mean, just like, Rodgers goes down, we'll get in a second, and we expect, I mean, after that injury, I mean, you just feel like the Bills should win this game. He goes down, I mean, the Bills have the numbers match. But after that, it just spirals down. It just spirals. It just takes a deep dip into nothing. I mean, to me, Josh does deserve his criticism.
Mhm.
I said all week that he deserves his criticism, and I think some people take this the wrong way when I say the entire game wasn't on him. Because to me, it really wasn't all on him, but I'm going to give him his criticism. I say 75% of that loss on Monday night was on Josh Allen. 3 turnovers. I give him 2 of those. 2 of
He had
those
4.
just plain
Yeah,
dumb
actually had 4
mistakes.
total.
Yeah, 4 total. I was just
Mhm.
talking about the interceptions. He had two dumb interceptions. And then the third one, I just think it was just a bad play call, and the offensive coordinator should just run the ball in that situation. It was just a bad play call, in my opinion. And I don't think that third one was particularly on Josh.
Right.
But Josh Allen, Ken Dorsey had all off season. They said it before the season ended and during their OTAs and training camp. They want to limit the turnovers. They want to start using 12 personnel. They want to start making this offense their own. But we're still seeing the simple, dumb mistakes that we saw last year, what we saw the year before, and it just hasn't changed. And that's where my frustration is. When you get 6 months to fix your mistakes from the year before, and then this year you open week 1 on the road in New York against Aaron Rodgers, on Monday Night Football, and you're still doing the same thing that you did against Cincinnati when you lost. It had there's th- that's where my frustration is. The offense needs to be fixed. Here's the thing. Sherfield had 16% of the offensive snaps on Monday night. Hardy had 22% of the snaps on Monday night, and Kincaid had 80%. So two out of the 3 guys that you got in the offseason to improve this offensive line barely touched the field.
Well, okay.
Even Harris.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like when both Kincaid and Knox are out there, you can only have 2 other receivers on the field. So are you gonna take Diggs and Davis off? Maybe Davis, but like it's hard to incorporate those guys when you're mainly in 12 personnel. So
And I completely agree. I mean, if you're going to run 12 personnel, what I think was 63% of the time, I mean, that's something new to this.
No, it was like 81%, wasn't it? If I'm
No,
not mistaken, or maybe it was 63.
It was 63.
Okay.
So
tight ends were out there 80% each.
To me, it was just. I think it was also something new. So just something new to this offense that you just didn't do last year. Last year we ran at the lowest. This year we have in week 1 we ran at the highest. I'll let Ben speak now.
Oh no, you're good. So to me, now it's kind of funny because I'm kind of going back and taking a different approach to this game. Yes, there are some concerns, and we'll get into them a little later, or I'll get into them in a little bit, but Jenna kind of touched on them. But entering this game, I think there's really 3 major questions that all Bills fans were looking forward to. And I know it's just week 1, so still a long season to go, but we were looking to see how McDermott would do as a play caller, how the new O-line would hold up, and how the middle linebacker play would be. And I think everything really passed the test. If you look at the numbers, the O-line performed pretty good. Jenna brought it up earlier. Josh really wasn't trusting the line, and there's a couple situations where he created pressure for himself. O'Cyrus Torrence played very well. Really, the only real weakness was Spencer Brown, but compared to last season.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Oh, you're good.
Connor McGovern actually struggled a bit too. I wonder if his knee was bothering him, or maybe just like, first
Mhm.
game jitters.
Right.
Just like you're in a new system, but he missed a little bit of time too. I think he missed some time. He missed the last preseason game too. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think Spencer Brown, like, he did have that false start in overtime, but I think compared to last year, there was some signs of improvement. McDermott, I thought the play calling was very good. It was aggressive. There was a couple run plays that were lapses, but really it was on tackling. Trey missed some tackles. But other than that, I mean, the run defense was solid. Other than those 2 plays, we created pressure. And I thought Bernard played pretty well for the most part. So those were 3 major concerns. And I'm not really as concerned with that. Like, to go and, go into that game, if you were to tell me we're going to lose that game because Josh Allen's throwing 3 picks, I probably would have said you're crazy. But I'm just going to draw it up as an anomaly. If it happens again, I will be concerned, but I don't think we should be as concerned with the play of Josh when he is shown week in, week out against pretty much every other defense minus the Jets. Now, he's always had trouble with the Jets. Going back to his second season, he had 3 turnovers in the first half at MetLife. We won 17-16 at the end. Even year 2 even 2021 against the Jets, we scored 8, or no, that was 2020. We scored 18 points in MetLife, all field goals, right? Yeah. So Josh has really never played well in MetLife, right? 17 points, 18 points. Last year we scored 17. This year 16, and he had some bad turnovers. But also, if you look at the one, it was almost like a punt, and I'm fine with that considering the situation. Down and distance, you're gonna punt anyways if you don't get it. And people always say you want to have Josh avoid the hit, so I'm fine with him not challenging a linebacker at the line of scrimmage and taking a big hit. It was like a punt. They got at the 4-yard line. Second interception. That was where Hardy was running. And Hardy ran a terrible route, by the way. So it really was on Hardy to sell the safety, but the safety ran the route for him. And the second pick, he was under pressure, and that was just a bad decision by him. He should have just, either taken the sack or threw it away. And then the third one, again, and I agree with you, Jenna, he had Diggs and he had Kincaid, but he expects Davis to sell that route, and he trusts Davis. Yeah. And Davis didn't do his job. So is that on Josh Allen to, run the route better for Davis? Yes, he had easier options. Yeah. But I think we're almost looking at it from too much of a microscope just because so much stuff happened. And it always seems like the Bills are on the bad side of these ugly losses. But just kind of taking a step back, I feel like the offense was pretty good, talking about the defense we were going against, yes, there were those 3 mistakes, but other than that, we were efficient. 70% completion. I'll take that all day. Once we play other teams, the deep shots will start to open up. But I'm going to wrap up, quickly, but just kind of the bounce back off what Paul said. There's still some concerns I see from last year that are rearing its ugly heads as far as Diggs being the only real true reliable wide receiver. We got Kincaid, but it's going to take a little bit of time probably for him to ramp up. The play calling in certain situations, like that 3rd and 2, we could have called a run. In overtime, 2nd and 15, we called a draw play. So in certain situations, the play calling wasn't great, and it was really just the Josh and Diggs show for a while. But I'll give it up to you guys. What is one positive takeaway and one other area of concern you guys have from this game?
Yeah. The positive takeaway I had from this game was that was how good the defense was. I guess that was one of my. It's funny because I was thinking before all of this, the offense, it's going to be so freaking explosive. The defense, I'm concerned about because of the middle linebacker situation. I wanted to see how the defensive line would hold up without Von Miller. I was concerned about, with Aaron Rodgers playing, I was concerned about them like possibly getting torched by Rodgers, or Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook being a two-headed monster. They did have 127 yards from Brees Hall, but that 83-yard run, that was a big chunk of it. He had about 44 yards of rushing yards. Other than that, so in his 10 attempts, but minus that big run, 9 attempts, that's 4.9 yards per carry. That's not awful. I mean, it would be middle of the pack if that were a whole season in run defense, but they held Dalvin Cook to 33 yards on 13 attempts. That's 2.5 yards per carry. Like, that's so bad. Like, for Dalvin. Overall, in defense, if you take away that long run, they only gave up like 3.5 yards per carry. So, in the grand scheme of it, we want to criticize the defense for giving up a long run, but the reality is they do that like once or twice a season. All teams do. So it's not the end of the world. On that play, the Jets were running 13 personnel. They had 3 tight ends on the right side of the right tackle. So, maybe Bernard should have spotted that and said, hey, how about you guys, pay attention, like go on their strong side. Don't like overshoot the gaps. Make sure that you're like, in the intermediate range so then you can actually tackle the guy. But there was miscommunication. Everyone's saying Poyer and Hyde looked old and slow. What else are you going to do when you get chip blocked by a freaking offensive lineman, Micah Hyde, and, you're backpedaling that turf monster? Like, I think he just got caught in the turf.
I didn't really think Hyde looked that. So, I mean, yeah, I do agree, but, like, go to any big run that we've ever given up. Like, as much as I like Poyer, he always takes the bad, like a poor angle on Derrick Henry, on Damian Harris.
To be fair, on Derrick Henry, the Titans got away with a bunch of holds on that play.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? 100%. Yeah. They held Trey
but I'm just saying, like, even in his prime, Poyer's never been the best at taking those angles on those running plays.
But by any means, he's not old and slow. Look at how he played all last season while he was banged up. I mean, just give the guy a break. He just got stuck in the turf, tried to turn to make the tackle. It didn't work out. We're lucky as hell that Christian Benford flew like a freaking race car to stop him. And it's he tore his ACL last year, but it's Brees Hall. Like, it's Brees Lightning. He's fast as boy. Like, you can't really do anything about it. So let's just like take away that run.
Yeah, Brees
run defense as a whole. There's just, I don't know what else to say, but we're obviously gonna have to look at Josh Jacobs this week. See how that looks.
Yeah.
Gonna be tough, but I think that they can handle it. They've stopped Derrick Henry before. Like, James Cook had more yards than Derrick Henry in that game last year. So how about we just calm down a little bit? Or, overreacting a little bit on the run defense. They still played really well. The pass defense was freaking amazing. Matt Milano was flying all around.
Yeah, the pass defense, like, I mean, I know it was zone, but Benford was phenomenal in coverage. Like you mentioned earlier, he saved a touchdown by chasing down Brees Hall. Trey had great coverage all night. Even on that touchdown, like, that was perfect coverage by Trey. Garrett Wilson just made an insane play. And I think you're the one who posted it on Twitter, John. It seems like every year the Bills have the catch of the year given up against them. But if you'll recall, after the Arizona game, that was our last regular season loss, and after the Minnesota game, that was our last regular season loss. So we might go 16-1 now because we gave up the catch of the year. I'm just saying.
And then I'm thinking about 2021, the Julio Jones helmet catch, or the helmet bounce off of Micah Hyde. Yeah, we lost to the Jaguars and the Colts and the Patriots and the Buccaneers after that. But still, they have pretty good records after they lose. They, sometimes learn from their mistakes. I guess, so it was like the run defense in 2021. I think there's like a theme throughout each season of things that plague the Bills. Last year, red zone interceptions by Allen. 2021.
It was also defensive injuries last year too.
Yeah.
That really was big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2021 it was the run defense. 2020 it was giving up Hail Mary plays. We saw it against the Cardinals. We saw it against the Chargers. When Herbert threw a bomb and it was caught by Mike Williams or Keenan Allen or something, and then I remember in the Colts playoff game, when Hyde knocked the ball down, and I felt like a release. I was like,
yeah, that was crazy.
That was awesome.
We did it. We stopped the Hail Mary. So
finally, right?
There's always a theme in each season. Let's just hope that we don't set the tone for this one.
Yeah, I think we're good. It's just week one.
Yeah, we lost a couple seasons ago to Pittsburgh. Week one. Sure, Allen didn't have as shitty of a performance, but there's lessons to be learned. We usually clean things up. I think what it all really boils down to is that, like you said, the Bills, Josh just has a bad rep with the Jets.
Something about playing in MetLife.
Dude,
something about it.
Has freaking PTSD. Sorry, not to be insensitive, but he's just got some PTSD against them or something. That defensive line, I truly think that in the first half, he was taking what the defense was giving him. Second half, for some reason, I think he just got spooked. He got spooked like a freaking horse or something. They pulled a stunt on him. They must have a couple times, and he was just I can't do this anymore. And he just goes X Games mode.
Yeah, but again, you all that blame and then some belongs to Josh, but why is the head coach and the offensive coordinator not doing something about it? Just hand the ball off every single play. We literally in that second half up 10 points, we could have just probably ran, down the field, kick field goals, and won that game.
Latavius Murray's hands, Latavius Murray, Damian freaking Harris. We know.
So
James
some of that to me falls on the coaching.
It does.
No, it does. Josh just needs to be smarter, take care of the ball, and not put his defense in those situations. You don't lose that game if you don't turn it over. So at the end of the day, that's really what needs to be cleaned up. I think everything else will work itself out. They're going to relook at the play calls and clean up some things and modify them. I think Josh needs to I don't know how many times he audibled or fix the play at the line of scrimmage, but he needs to be able to they need to use pre-snap
motion.
Pre-snap movement.
I agree, but the one time we used pre-snap movement, that threw off the snap cadence, and we ended up having a turnover that play, right?
Yeah.
No, I think that was.
You need to get on the same page. You got to be to your offensive line, dude. We are going to run a pre-snap motion, whatever the audible is, blah blah blah. So don't get fooled from this of what we're doing. This is the set plan. Just let Deontay Hardy just whoop over, like Stephon
Mhm.
Diggs just go around and stuff, go back and forth and like go into the slot. But they just need to fix some things. I'm not going to hang my head in doom and gloom like some people are saying. Josh Allen needs to be benched. Josh Allen needs to be traded. You need to send Diggs to the Cowboys. Like what the actual F? Like, oh my God, it's week 1. Calm down. Let's just see how we do next week. So yeah, how about we stop talking about that nasty game and preview our game this week?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I
let's
just
go to that.
I guess we'll just wrap up with this as kind of as we segue to the next game. One of my real big concern with the offense again goes back to that run game, and that's something we need to see this week against the Raiders. I don't think you need to see a heavy dose of it, but I want to see this run game get established because you're going to need it once you go up against defenses like the Jets again. You're going to need a dominant run game, in order to set up the play action, in order to keep the defenses honest, because I saw the numbers when the Bills were in 12 personnel, which you mentioned they were in for
No, Ben. Where'd you go?
60%. Hear me?
There you are. Okay,
All right.
you're frozen.
You're good.
I'm good. All right. Perfect.
You're good.
Okay. So I know you mentioned when the Bills ran 12 personnel, was like 60 something percent of the game. I saw the numbers. When the Bills were in 12, the Jets stayed in their base nickel most of the time. So in order to get the defenses honest, you got to be able to establish a run game. So once they throw out those 2 tight ends, you don't know if the Bills are going to run or going to pass. And as we saw last week, we couldn't run out the clock because we had no run game to really, and not that we committed to it, but just going forward. But this is a game against a team, and I'll give them credit because they won last week. But right now, you don't know if they'll be with their top 2 receivers. Their starting quarterback, did he miss practice or is he just injured? But Jimmy G's already hurt, which is shocking, right? But not really. But this will be another test for the Bills' run defense with Josh Jacobs coming to town. He's one of the best running backs in the league. So I'm looking for the Bills' run defense to play like it did last week because, again, the run defense was not the issue other than a couple big plays, but you cut down on allowing the big plays, and I think you'll be fine. Now, Davante Adams might do some Davante Adams things, but the way that Trey played on Wilson, I think our pass defense should be fine. It just comes down to the rush defense, and Max Crosby could cause some issues, but that comes back to, I think we should try to go back to what was working a little bit versus the Jets in the beginning, which is a quick, timing passes underneath. The deeper stuff will open up, and against the Raiders, it'll be a lot easier to pass downfield at least.
Yeah. Did you guys see that Davante Adams is hurt though? He's got
he did not practice today. He has a foot injury. It seems.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see if Davante Adams goes.
And I believe Myers has a concussion. He's in concussion protocol, so we may not play him.
Yeah. And then Josh Jacobs, he had 48 yards the other day. On like 19 attempts or something. That's 2.5 yards per carry. So
Yeah, but I still wouldn't look at it.
It's an anomaly. Anyways, like
and that's a divisional opponent with a a tough defensive line. Denver is a great defensive line. They had a really good defense last year.
I don't think they had the Broncos didn't have any sacks against the Raiders. I'll have to check.
Mhm. Well, that's the thing. They get the ball out quick in that Josh McDaniels style
Yeah.
offense.
True.
You know, back when they had Brady, it was all about quick timing passes, get the ball out quick. You know, it's not a lot of downfield stuff. It's like you know, it's not really a West Coast offense, but it's like a timing offense, a quick offense. They use the backs a lot. They don't really throw it down the field vertically. It's a lot of underneath routes, you know, stuff to get yards after catch.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I
Sean
mean-
McDermott is definitely familiar with facing Josh McDaniels' offense. Now, I will say we haven't gone up against a Devontae Adams or Josh Jacobs in New England, but Jimmy G, we faced him before. He's no Tom Brady. Well, actually, have we? I'm trying to remember. Have the Bills ever played a game against Jimmy Garoppolo? Because I believe Brissett was the starter. Because Garoppolo got hurt the year Brady was suspended, and when we played San Francisco, wasn't Nick Mullins was the starter. So I don't know if we've ever played
I think
Jimmy.
we've seen glimpses of Jimmy Garoppolo, but
Yeah,
we
maybe
haven't
in like
officially
backup duty when New
started
England was
against
up like 48-0 against us or something.
Yeah.
But
It's-
I don't
it's
think
just-
we've seen Garoppolo like
It's just
starter.
funny though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
It's funny because, like, you know, the legend of Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G.
Jimmy
Flo's
G.
never like officially played him. It's really funny.
He's got like the
So-
third highest win percentage out of like active starters or something.
Yeah.
Like, say what you want about Jimmy Garoppolo, he won't like. He's like the anti Josh Allen. He is the epitome of take the safe underneath check down, play not to lose the game. He doesn't play to
Yeah.
win. He doesn't take the big home run pass. It's just run the ball, take care of the football, and you know, run the offense.
Right.
You look at Monday night's loss. It was on the road. It was in New York. But Josh Allen, in 5 career home openers, has 10 touchdowns. And the Bills in their last 6 home openers have averaged 24.3 points per game in the last 6 home openers.
Well,
So-
what's the Bills' record in the last 6 home openers? Is it 5-1, 4-2?
I don't have the record. I just have
Oh,
I
sorry.
could probably
have
think
those small little
last
nuggets
year
of
1,
info.
1 Steelers, 1
And I know we lost to the Steelers, Baltimore. I think that's it. Oh no, I'm talking about home openers. Oh, Baltimore wasn't a home opener that year. Chargers was 2018 home opener. That was
2019
Allen's first start.
2019 was what the
The
Jets?
Bengals.
Oh, Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah, the
won that
Bengals,
game.
and when we won that game,
Yep.
I think, right? That
Yep.
Dawson Knox.
Yep,
that
we did. Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
private one.
Pushes
So I
him.
mean, we're
Yeah.
pretty good in home openers under Josh, honestly.
I
mean,
think. Oh yeah, under Josh, we lost to the Steelers and Chargers. So that's what 4-2.
yeah, 4-2. So
Yeah.
it's not bad. I
Yeah.
mean, especially coming off a loss against.
And
the
what's
Jets.
our record under McDermott after loss? Does anyone have that? By the way, like
I think it's
or
9
with
and 3.
Josh, 9-3. Yeah, that's
Something
pretty
like that.
good. So, like I know last year we had that back-to-back stretch where we lost the Jets, ironically, but that's the game where Josh got hurt. So pretty much that entire week leading up to the game, we didn't even know if Josh Allen was going to start. And to be honest, I was at that game and I actually fully expected, at least, you know, when I woke up to leave for the game, I thought there's a good chance Case Keenum could start that game. Like McDermott was kind of like gun shy whether Allen was going to play or not, but he didn't get any practice reps and he was hurt. And that was just a kind of a fluky game similar to this Jets game with all those turnovers and just another overtime loss, ironically. But that's not a good pattern, the OT losses, but it is what it is. But anyways, I don't think we're going to drop the, back-to-back games. You bring up the home opener record. We're very good at home with Allen and McDermott. Like, there's a couple of losses I can think of, but not every team is perfect at home. So
No.
Right.
Under Josh Allen, we are 28
Yeah,
and 11 at
okay.
home, and
Yeah,
he has 20
take that.
touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So to me, he plays way better at home than on the road. I just feel like he's more calm at home. He's more
100%.
he just feels comfortable at home, but I don't know what it is when he goes on the road. Maybe it's the play calling. Maybe we just completely change from
Maybe,
when we go play from home, go on the road. I don't
It's
Go back
funny,
to
most of
2020. Crowd noise.
It's funny
Yeah.
though. Most of our tough games this year are on the road. At least the remaining
Yeah.
games, besides I guess Dallas. Dallas is really our only real tough home game besides Miami, because the Jacksonville game's in London, so I don't really count that. But I guess we got the Jets out of the way, which definitely was not an easy game by any stretch. MetLife, say what you want, it is one of the ugliest stadiums ever, but it is loud, and I think it's the biggest by capacity. We play the Chiefs, Bengals, Chargers, even though that's more like a neutral game, but they're just a tough opponent, I guess. So as far as quality of teams go, not really as far as environment, but some of these are tough places to play, like Philly as well. So
Yeah.
between Philly, Cincy, and KC, those are 3 of the 4 teams in last year's Final Four. We got to play all 3 of those teams on the road this year, and all 3 teams have offenses. Now, fortunately, I don't think any of those teams have the Jets defense, even though Philly does have a strong front, which looked phenomenal with Jalen Carter
Yeah.
added to the mix. But it's a secondary to me that's not as strong. Losing
CJ Gardner Johnson. He's
Gardner
gone.
Johnson.
Yeah.
I think they lost another corner.
Slay. They
They still
have,
got
I
Darius
think
Slay.
James Bradbury still too. Do they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they still have Bradbury. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's I don't think they're as physical as the Jets. Like, the Jets really wear you down. The Eagles just have a great pass rush, and they had a really good offense last year. They still got a great offense. So I think when a team like the Bills matches up against the Eagles, I'm not saying we're going to put up 38 like the Chiefs did, but I think our offense matches up fairly well against the Eagles' defense. And I'm still kind of nervous about Cincinnati again, but their defense doesn't look as strong as it did last year. I think they had more losses than we did. They still have Anarumo, though, who's a phenomenal play caller, as we all know. But yeah, I guess really these home games, like, you're at home. You mentioned Josh plays better, but this is a perfect opportunity. You got to win these games. And starting 0-1, you do not want to start 0-2, because then things could really unravel and get out of control quickly. So, just get the W. Like, I think it should. The Bills can blow the doors off them, but like, all they need to do is just focus on going out there and executing and not turning the ball over. I think the defense will get the job done, and I think they can win comfortably. It may not be 50-0, but it's the NFL. You have to realize everyone else is a pro too. They're all getting paid like you to do it. Like, you don't always have to put on a show and, make it pretty. Like, sometimes a win is a win, whether it's 3-0, 50-0. Like, style points only get you so far. Like, it really gets you nowhere, honestly. Like, just get the win. Like, if the Bills would have, ran a similar offense as the Jets did, where all they had to do was run the ball, play defense, there was no way they would have lost that game on Monday. And I know I don't want to, bring up a sore subject, because we turned the page, but that's what you got to do versus I think the Raiders and going forward, you still got pieces you added to this offense, and I think there's going to be a ramp up period maybe before week 5-6 before we really see this offense clicking on all cylinders because we get the O-line still gelling. Kincaid, I think, is going to definitely him and Josh are going to grow a better rapport together. And even these other receivers, I think, have more that they have to do. Even though Diggs and Allen, I mean, I think Diggs and Allen, the connection is still there, as you saw, but just to me, just win the game and go to Washington. But
Yeah.
I feel like with the Raiders missing all those players, but you can't overlook any opponent anymore. Like, I think the Bills almost got cocky, and I'm not saying they did. This is my opinion, not really an observation, more like a theory, but just the way they played, like they thought that they would just go out there and win because that quarterback matchup, but they got overconfident, and I think they just try to take too many shots, get out and get the win. Like, I know Jimmy G is not Josh Allen, but we just lost to Zach Wilson, and they don't have the same defense, but they have a good run game. They got a good defensive line.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a couple of things here for this game. I think what I want to see in this in this game against the Raiders. Personally, I just want to see a Josh Allen bounce back game. I mean, it doesn't matter if he throws only 20 times and he has 250 yards and a touchdown. To me, that's way better than what he did last week with 1 touchdown, 71% completion percentage, and 3 interceptions. I just wanted to see him bounce back. I don't need him to go out there, throw 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, and say, hey, the old Josh Allen's back. We wanted to see the Josh Allen that throws to the 71% completion percentage, but instead of 3 interceptions, we wanted 71%, 250 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's what I want Josh Allen to do next week. Run game. I want to see the Bills run the football. I mean, when it's 3rd and 2 at the 45-yard line in your zone, run the football. I want to see the Bills do that. I want to see Damien Harris get more carries. I really do. I mean, I know we want to keep him for the red zone, but if you put Damien Harris in the 3rd and 2, he could probably get you that 2 yards, maybe 5 yards, and keep going forward. So I think using the run game, be creative in your play calling. I just think that will help you keep the ball longer, but also be more efficient on offense. And then you got to stop Josh Jacobs. Even though he had 48 yards last week, I mean, if you don't stop Josh Jacobs and he goes, the only way I see the Raiders winning this game if Josh Jacobs goes for 150 yards to 200 yards and gets 2 touchdowns. That's where I say that's where they have a chance of winning, the Raiders. But you keep them to 75, 80 yards, I think the Bills have a really good chance to come out with a comfortable win.
Yeah. You heard that? That was me knocking on wood. Yeah. Be careful with what you say. But they just need to control the line of scrimmage, develop a sound run game. They need to keep Josh clean in the pocket. Take advantage of the checkdowns, take advantage of the intermediate throws. Leave the defense guessing. You want to take advantage of a light box if there is one. Open up, run the ball, open up the pass game. But first, you kind of have to you gotta do the intermediate throws first too. That opens up the pass game. They need to do more screens, pre-snap motions. They need to continue what they did in the first half. I think Josh played disciplined in the first half. Second half, that's where it really unraveled. So, get out to a good lead and play smart football. That's really all they got to do for 60 minutes. And then I was just thinking when you were like saying about the Eagles defensive line, Cowboys defensive line, how those will probably be the best lines we'll go up against. Injuries are going to happen throughout the season. They're probably going to lose some guys. Knock on wood. That wouldn't be great, but they'll lose some guys. And we play them in the back half of the season, thankfully. So their units might get a little weaker as the season goes on. We have Von Miller coming back.
We do.
Look how great our defensive line looked on Monday. Pass rush. And we have Von Miller coming back. We had 3 sacks. So Greg Rousseau looked great. He didn't have a sack, but he had some good tackles and he was disruptive. Leonard Floyd had the sack, unfortunately. I don't think we ever really talked about this, but Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles. Product of the Bills' great pass rush, unfortunately. So,
yeah, and also a product of playing on turf, right?
Yeah.
That is a big talking point
Yeah.
as a result of this game. It seems like every time something significant happens in the NFL, it always involves the Bills, right? As far as like precedent for like a crazy thing, like 13 seconds led to the overtime rule. This game is probably going to lead to, if they do change to the playing surfaces, to strictly grass. And then obviously we know about, the game that got canceled. But yeah, it's just funny. It seems like the Bills always are involved in these crazy type of circumstances.
And it feels like the Bills, they always cause like a crazy injury too. Aaron Rodgers, season-ending injury. Mike White, cracked ribs. We'll talk about Loa. Concussion.
Concussion and broken ribs.
Yeah, and
the year before,
broken ribs. Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
And the
AJ
year before, I
Vanessa.
think Matt Milano was both.
No,
Oh, wait, no,
AJ
that was AJ.
Vanessa.
Yeah,
Yep.
AJ, yep.
Oh my god. Didn't they cause an injury on like?
It was
Joe
funny. I was
Montana or
at
something?
the game, both games where Tua got cracked by Epineza, and then the game where Milano got cracked Mike White. Like those were 2 of the hardest hits you'll see on a quarterback by a defensive player. I was at both those games.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, what was that, Jenna?
Didn't the Bills injure Joe Montana?
I believe they did in the AFC Championship game when he
Yeah.
was on the Chiefs. They also ended Brett Favre's start streak, the record start streak. I think he still has. I think Favre still has the record for it, but yeah, they ended Favre's consecutive start streak.
Damn.
Yep.
We are
Maybe the Bills are a cursed franchise.
nasty Bills. We're so nasty. But I still can't believe the Bills tore or caused Aaron Rodgers to tear his Achilles. I can't believe it. I just keep thinking about it like these past couple days, just like what the actual heck.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really sucks.
I feel bad for him. But
It's terrible. Just because. I mean, just speaking not as a Bills fan, but from a fan of football, it brought a lot of excitement. Rodgers on a new team. The Jets had this roster, which I thought was ready. You had Hard Knocks and everything, all the hype, expectations, 5 primetime games, and not even 4 plays into it, it's all over. The Jets have more games in primetime than plays Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Jets have more primetime games than snaps Aaron Rodgers took for the Jets this season. That is crazy just to, put into perspective.
We have to watch Zach Wilson in primetime against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, they're gonna lose a lot of their primetime games, but I mean, they're obviously not gonna move the the Black Friday game. So as you eat your Thanksgiving leftovers, you gotta, be stuck with Tua versus Zach Wilson.
Watch, it's probably gonna be freaking.
I mean, I don't. I have the
Yeah,
same.
I mean, I don't
love
want to
Tua.
speak on any more injuries or anything
Yeah,
just because
yeah,
of it, but it could be Mike White. I mean, I don't think that would shock anyone, but I hope Tua stays healthy. That's kind of, I guess, another interesting storyline from week one is like he won AFC Offensive Player of the Week. I know they don't have the defense that the Bills do, that being the Chargers, but I've been a pretty, not a major Tua hater or critic, but I've kind of been a skeptic for sure, and I never really trusted his arm. But on Saturday, Tua made some throws, and he was slinging it.
Dude.
And
That one
Tyreek
to
Hill,
Braxton Berrios. Holy crap! What
yeah,
a freaking angle
but
outside of
Tyreek
numbers too.
Hill is like the greatest weapon I've ever seen with the football. Like when that guy gets the ball in his hand, magic happens, and I have no idea why the Chargers, what they were doing, thinking that they could stick in single coverage versus him. But hopefully the Bills don't have that that same type of game plan when we see him here in a couple weeks. But that's just something else I wanted to bring up as a big storyline. Like it was all about Rodgers being the challenger to Josh as being the best quarterback in the division, and obviously we're not going to see it at least this year. I wish Aaron the best in his recovery, but Tua Tagovailoa might be here. Like you heard that saying, expect us. Like he might be here for sure. Like Tuanon, Mike McDaniel. Like Mike McDaniel is a nut, but he can call an offensive game plan.
He can. I mean, I'm not a big Mike McDaniels fan. I've always called him a Fortnite gamer guy, but
if Mike McDaniel was the coach of the Bills, I think every Bills fan would love him. I mean, he's just kind of a weird guy, but you cannot deny he could call an offense.
Dude,
he can.
He's freaking mastermind. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets under my skin. He's cringe as hell, but he's pretty freaking good at his job. There's a reason why he's the head coach of the Dolphins.
For sure.
And I mean, yeah, Tua was spectacular in that game. Like the play that he made to Braxton Berrios on the sideline, the way he escaped the pocket, rolling out to his left, like that's something you see Josh doing. And then he throws
but that 3rd and 15 though.
Yeah,
when he stepped up in the pocket and he hit Tyreek deep.
You're rolling out to his left. He throws with his left arm, and he's throwing out to the sideline to Braxton Berrios. You know how hard that is, especially with the the limited arm strength that he has. That was amazing.
Yeah. And then that Tyreek throw I thought was even better.
Yeah.
When he stepped up in the pocket and he hit him deep. That was 3rd and 15. That was a huge moment in that game.
Some Dolphins fans flamed me for my tweet about Tua, like saying that like I'm done clowning him. He was spectacular. Herbert's moving down my list.
Yeah, I said I tweeted out too. I was like, right now I'm taking Tua over Herbert. As of today,
100%.
Things can change, but I've seen more from Tua where I would rather have Tua as my quarterback. Now, I think having Tyreek Hill goes a long way for that, but I mean, you can't hate the player, hate the game, whatever they say. But what games we got for our picks this week, Paul?
We have 6 of them, and we're gonna start. Let's start slow, and we'll ramp up maybe the difficulty as we get through. So let's go start with Green Bay going on the road to Atlanta. Atlanta did beat the Carolina Panthers. Jordan Love balled out. Where are we thinking here? And I also want to mention that Tommy did pick the Green Bay Packers.
Give me Atlanta. I like Bijan. I like that offense. They're at home. The defense has been playing well. Granted, Bryce Young was a rookie, meaning he didn't sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, but still kind of similar situations. Now, this is going to be his third start, I believe, for Jordan Love, but he still doesn't have a lot of experience. I like that Falcons defense. They got a way better offensive play caller and coach than Chicago does in Arthur Smith, versus Luke Getsy. So I expect Bijan and the guys to still make some plays. I think I like Atlanta's defense, and this is in Atlanta, right?
It's in Atlanta.
That's why I'm picking Atlanta. It's in the dome. Give me Atlanta.
Yeah. That's actually a hard game for me. I was originally like thinking like Jesse Bates balled out versus the Panthers. I think he had 2 picks.
Yeah.
He did.
But that Green Bay team, their defense corralled Justin Fields. If you can take away the Falcons' run game, they have Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness on the defensive line.
Lucas Van Ness.
He was
a
oh my
beast.
goodness, he was great. He looked really
was
disruptive. Who are their linebackers? The Packers.
Quay
lost
Walker, I know was
various-
one.
Quay Walker, he had the pick 6. I'll have to see, but I think if they can corral the run game of the Falcons, then they can like easily disrupt the passing game. Unless they start to find a rhythm with Kyle Pitts and Drake London, but and then as far as the offense, the Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are so explosive. They're such
That's a good
tough
running back
runners.
duo.
Yeah,
That's a good duo.
Yeah, they could give that Atlanta front some difficulties. That front 7.
So you lean in Green Bay, it sounds like.
I think I'm leaning Green Bay. I think that they, even though it's the Bears, but it's also the Falcons too.
And I know.
I think
I'm guessing
Jordan
Paul's
Love
taking-
can give them. Yeah, I think Jordan Love could give him some issues. I like the direction that he's going in. He's starting to like solidify that Green Bay quarterback dynasty.
100%. But I will point out, even though I'm picking against them today, I was the only one who picked them last week, and I did pick them right. Just saying.
You did. You did pick Green Bay, right? I didn't pick Green Bay.
I was
last
against them last week, but I'm feeling Atlanta.
Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith.
Yeah, that's his name.
Oh yeah,
That was
Rashawn
his-
Gary. Also, do you have the results from last week as far as what everyone went? I feel like that's something.
I did tally them.
Okay.
The records are probably subject to change because I just went off memory,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually did 7 last
Sure.
week instead of 6. So I went 5-2, and the rest of us went 4-3.
Okay.
Wait, what were the games again? Just so I can remember.
Yeah.
For this week.
Oh
Or
no,
last
no,
week?
last
Last
week. It was Lions, Packers, Bills, right? Cowboys, right? That was another one.
Yeah, Cowboys,
no?
Giants. It was Cowboys, Giants, Bills. We did all 3. We did all 3 primetime games, and I think we did 4 because we did the Eagles were in there.
Oh, we picked the Chargers
did.
game
You-
too, right?
wait, you
In the
guys,
Chargers game, yeah.
Yeah.
Eagles, Green Bay, and Chargers.
I
can you like
forgot.
say all the games so then I can like remember?
Yeah,
So
that's
you
what I'm
said-
trying to do too.
Yeah. Can you give us the matchups, Paul?
For this week or last week?
No,
last
last
week.
week.
Green Bay, Chicago. LA,
Okay.
Miami. It was New England and
Eagles.
Philly.
Eagles. Lions, Chiefs, Bills, Jets. There was one where I have the paper somewhere.
Cowboys, Giants.
It was Cowboys Giants. That's what it was. So
Okay.
maybe it was 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
maybe
I
it
went
was
4
6.
I think I went like
I went 3 and
3
3 then.
yeah, I think I went 3 and 3. I think I picked the Chargers, I picked the Bears, and then I picked the Bills.
Yeah, I
You
just
know,
picked
and those ones I got
the
wrong.
the Chiefs, Chargers, and Bills. Those are the 3 I got. Sorry, I didn't mean to break it up.
No,
I just
yeah.
wanted. I felt
Oh,
like.
here it is.
Oh, you got
Lions,
it.
I do. It was Lions, Chiefs, Titans, Saints, 49ers,
Mm.
Steelers, Dolphins, Chargers, Eagles, Pats, Packers, Bears, Jets, Bills.
What did I say with the Titans Saints? I don't really remember.
I don't remember. I wrote
No.
down from memory. We all went.
I,
Saints.
I picked the Saints, and I'm pretty sure I picked the Niners.
I
So
might have picked the Saints.
I'm trying
actually.
to. So I think it
Based
was.
off
There was still
memory,
6 games though.
It was 7 last week. It was
7. So I picked the Lions, the Chargers, and the I picked the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bills, and was there another one I missed? Because I picked the Niners, the
Bears.
We all picked the
Cowboys,
Chargers. We all picked the
Packers.
Niners. We all picked the Saints. Ben, you
Saints.
picked the Chiefs.
Yep.
We all picked the Eagles. I think I was the only one last week based off memory who picked the Bears. Everyone else went Packers. And then
I
we
think
all
I
picked
went.
the
I
Bills.
think I said Bears.
Oh, they
too.
said Bears. They said
I've
Bears.
been like
remember?
a big Bills.
Yeah.
Big
Bears.
Bills proponent.
So record subject to
I'm gonna
change,
eat
but
it.
So I'm just thinking again. So I picked the 49ers, the Saints, the Packers, and the Patriots. That's 4, right?
There's no fucking way you picked the Patriots. Excuse me.
Or no, the
Yeah.
Eagles. Sorry, no. I meant that game. I meant that game. I was just going off of which one I got
Yeah.
right. So I think I'm
Yeah.
4-3. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
It's confusing, but yeah, I just wanted to get a baseline of where we're all sitting right now. But back to where we were.
Everyone's record for last week. I'll watch the film and let everyone know.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
But back to where we were. Sorry to get sidetracked.
So I'm just
that
going to pick
Packers-
the team I'm going to pick so we can get ready for the first matchup. I will pick Green Bay this week. And don't worry, I have it all written down here for who we're
Okay,
picking.
good,
So this
good.
we
All
can
right,
have more
perfect. So
information.
we'll have this tallied up better.
Yeah.
Okay, what's game 2?
Game 2. Ravens going on the road to the 0-1 Bengals. Tommy picked the Ravens.
Oh, I'm gonna take the Bengals just because they're home. The Ravens are a little dinged up, and I think the Bengals are gonna have a little sense of urgency coming off of that ugly Week 1 loss. I think Burrow's gonna want to go out there. He's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. The Ravens are still kind of installing a new offense. We don't know if Andrews is gonna play, and I think Anarumo is gonna scheme up something good for that. So give me the Bengals.
Yeah. And actually, it's in the Bills' best interest that the Bengals win too. We don't play the Eagles or the Ravens this season. We do play the Bengals, so let's give the Bengals a win. They're both 1-1. We can get the Bengals in Week 9. So I think that the Bengals are going to bounce back and win a close one with the Ravens. I say close one because I think the Bengals are going to maybe start off a little slow and then they're going to go at an incline and finish the game off strong. The Ravens are going to keep it close despite having all the injuries. OBJ is still healthy. Lamar is still healthy. So, and isn't their offensive tackles out for some time?
I know their centers out too. I think Ronnie
Tyler-
Stanley
And Tyler Linderbaum?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they got dinged up.
I mean, those are always close games. Those NFC North interdivisional battles, but I mean, they grinded it out last year in the playoffs at Cincinnati with Tyler Huntley. So it's going to be interesting because I guess we saw it last year early on in the season, but we haven't seen that Cincinnati, that Burrow-Lamar matchup in a while. So
Right,
it's going to be
I know,
interesting to see that. I mean, to me, that really should be a primetime matchup, but instead we get Tua and Mac Jones, but I guess I'll digress.
Yeah, that's the Sunday night game. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. I was in my head all week with this one, who do I want, who do I don't? Give me the Bengals. They're going to bounce back. Joe Burrow is going to throw more than 82 yards this game, and that's how they're going to
He's going to throw at least 83. Bold take.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
I'll
third
take
game.
the over on that.
This is a 1:00 game, which is surprising to me. The Chiefs going on the road to Jacksonville. Tommy has the Kansas City Chiefs.
I agree with Tommy because I watched Jacksonville last week, and I really wasn't all that impressed with them, I'll say. They're a 9-18 from last year, and yeah, they added Calvin Ridley, shiny new toy, and he looked great. But we talk about Josh playing a rough game on the road against a divisional opponent that had his number, issue with turnovers, but there was like inches away. Trevor was inches away from having a duplicate performance. Like a Colts player dropped an easy interception, which they bobbled. There was another fumble that, was recovered out of bounds. There was several plays where Trevor put the ball in harm's way. And yes, he's got that upper echelon type arm and skill talent, but he will put a couple balls in harm's way, kind of similar to Josh, but you don't really hear that discourse. And I know, when you finish with 2 turnovers versus 4, that's half the turnovers. But I mean, he did have some crucial turnovers. One was for a touchdown, and he was close to having a couple more picks. But I guess almost doesn't count in the NFL. But against a team like the Chiefs, who's opportunistic, if you give them a couple of those, they'll cash in on them. And you don't want to turn it over with Mahomes on the other side. And Chris Jones is back. That's going to be a huge morale booster for that Chiefs locker room.
Right.
And I know they're going into Jacksonville, but him being back, Kelsey is practicing. I don't expect the receivers to drop as much. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. Travis Kelce comes back. Chris Jones, I never thought I'd be happy that Chris Jones is back. You know why? Because they play the Jets in a couple weeks. I want them to be sound against it. I want the Chiefs to be the Jets. I do.
Yeah, 100%.
But although it wouldn't hurt, I want to see that Jets defense against Mahomes, though. I really do.
Yeah, I want to see the Jets defense make Mahomes have a couple mistakes so people can just stop. Oh, Josh. And I'm not saying Josh is as good as Mahomes, but like the whole thing is like, oh, Josh isn't the answer. Like, Mahomes will never play like this, which isn't true. He's had bad games, kind of similar like that. But I'm not trying to compare the two at all. But it would be nice, to see Mahomes struggle a little bit. But I never want to see AFC East teams win, of course. So I'd like to see the Chiefs win in overtime versus the Jets. That would be perfect.
Walk-off punt return, just something like that.
Something like that.
A blocked kick, something.
They have hope, and then it ends.
I think if Rodgers was still playing, then I would say the Chiefs. But now that I think about it, I think the Jets winning against the Chiefs would probably be better. Because
there's a few more weeks.
Well, the Jets are going to lose more games than us.
Yeah, but I don't mean.
So you might as well just.
But here's the thing, though. What happens if they beat the Chiefs and then they start getting hot and they, Zach Wilson, they start believing in him? Like, what happens if they just catch magic in a bottle because, we can beat the Chiefs, we can beat anyone, and their defense just plays at an insane level. So, like, I feel like if the Jets beat the Chiefs, that could be problem for the league actually because, I'm not saying it's gonna, it's going to make them beat everyone, but it's going to give them the confidence that they can beat everyone. So every week they're going to be tough. I mean, they got a great defense. They can really, hold anyone. It really just comes down to, can Breece Hall have an MVP type season at running back, which is a huge question mark coming off an ACL, but I don't know. But I still never want to see the Jets win. Okay. I hate the Jets. I'm not sympathetic for them.
Right.
I mean, I am because they lost Rodgers. It sucks that they lost their quarterback, but I'm not giving them charity wins. Like, that's their – I mean, they made that bet. They got to lay in it. Like, the risks when you trade for a 40-year-old quarterback and you have a 40-year-old offensive tackle, who hadn't played in the mini camps or training camp. You have a left tackle playing right tackle who hasn't played meaningful snaps in over 2 seasons. So it was a recipe for disaster. Like, they missed so many times on their quarterback picks. Like, sometimes taking the shortcut doesn't always win. But hopefully we see Rodgers in the future.
Yeah. How about we? Sorry, I didn't mean to go off track there, but also, I'm gonna take the Chiefs with the win over Jacksonville. I I think that's better for the Bills to keep them both at 1-1. We don't want Jacksonville to get to 2-0. And I
Yeah.
also think with Jones and Kelsey coming back, that's going to be a huge boost, and they're not going to drop as many balls.
And just quickly on that, like just looking at Jacksonville's schedule, if they get to 2-0, they beat the Bills as well. They're 3-1, whatever. Like they get a couple games ahead of the Bills. With that schedule, they don't have that many really tough games besides
Yeah.
us. And I mean, really just probably.
Bengals, Chiefs.
I mean, I know they play the 49ers. They play they play the Bengals after the Chiefs and us. But other than that, like their schedule really isn't all that too difficult.
Yeah, I mean, with the division they're in, they can
Yep.
they get 6 easy wins that, like
Yeah,
I
they
said.
can. I mean, they could definitely run the table in the AFC. So, I mean, they're probably a team you want to see lose some early games. What about you, Paul? You got Kansas City or
I
Jacksonville?
don't.
You got
I got
Jacksonville?
Jacksonville. It's
All
in
right.
Jacksonville. I don't know. Just for some reason,
I'm not
you
picking
know,
against Mahomes, though.
it's picking against. I mean, I picked against Mahomes last week and they lost by a point. And yes, they for some reason they didn't have Kelsey, they didn't have Jones. Kelsey's coming back. Hasn't played since really the Super Bowl. He has no real conditioning. Don't know how much you're going to see of him. Just give me the
Right.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well,
Next
I'm
game.
gonna say, I just want to say that Chiefs defensive line played pretty dang good without.
Yeah,
Chris
even
Jones.
without Chris
So,
Jones, you are
adding
right
him
about
in
that.
there, it's not gonna hurt.
So, what's the next game?
Rams hosting the 49ers. Tommy,
Interesting.
49ers.
49ers
Dude, I'm taking
because
the 49ers.
this
I don't
is
care how
Levi
well they
South.
list.
You ever see a game in LA between the 49ers and the Rams? The
It's
49ers fans
pencil. Yeah.
take over that stadium and they are loud and it gets wild. And the 49ers have smashed the Rams in the regular season. Yeah, I know the Rams have that NFC Championship game where Jimmy G threw that pick, but there's no Von Miller saving them today. Cooper Kupp is out.
Leonard Floyd.
I like Puka Nacua, but I just think this 49ers team, they're a dominant team. They were my preseason Super Bowl pick for the NFC, and I'm probably not going to change that unless something significantly changes. So give me the 49ers.
Yeah,
Give me the
49ers all day. I
Give me
just, yeah.
Go ahead.
Rams, they played great the other day, but 49ers, they played even better.
No, I looked at this game and I was like, well, maybe we'll get someone to say the Rams, and just 2 seconds after I finish, everyone bursts up the 49ers. All right, the game that we're all waiting for this Sunday is Bills versus Raiders. The Bills are 9.5-point favorites. I mean, we're all Bills fans here. Are we all in the consensus that the Bills bounce back and win?
Yeah, this game is in Buffalo. The Raiders have some injury question marks. Sean McDermott's record coming off of losses, his record in the home opener. Those two things add a recipe for success. They're going to want to play for Bills Mafia. So give me the Bills by 1 billion.
Yeah, give me the Bills too. I think that that Allen's going to try to limit those turnovers. He's going to play smarter. Take what the defense gives him like he did in the first half.
Yeah, 6 touchdowns, no picks.
No, I'm just kidding. No.
That's good.
I know. I would love that. I'm waiting for Allen to throw for 6 touchdowns.
Maybe it's
Waiting
Sunday.
for that day.
But he could have done that versus the Steelers. And he could have
easily.
easily done that
He could have
versus
thrown for 10 touchdowns versus the Steelers. Are we kidding?
Yeah, I want to see that.
That was like easy mode in Madden. I'm guessing you're taking Bills, Paul?
Yeah, I'm obviously taking the Bills. I mean, just look. I mean, horrible Monday Night loss. They're hungry. They're ready. They just want to go out and just punch the Raiders in the mouth. Don't really think it's going to be a blowout. It could end up being a blowout. Feel like, I mean, we're not required to give score predictions, but I'm just going to give. This is where my head's at, like a 27-14 type victory. Win it.
Really?
Get it over with.
I have
Go up by,
41-22.
And win the game.
I have 41-22. That's mine.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think that we're gonna flip the switch that quickly.
We'll
I,
see.
I would I
We'll
would rather
see.
have, an incremental progression of the offense,
We'll see.
get
All it
hot
takes is a
later.
couple, big plays, broken tackles,
Right.
blown coverages. You're at home. You got the crowd behind you, the energy. I mean, you heard Alec Anderson. He said it. There's like a different energy when you're playing those home games. The
Right.
players really feed into it, and that's why. Again, I don't want to. I keep going back to the stupid loss, but like if that game was in Buffalo and the Jets lost Rodgers, they would have gotten smacked. Like I say
Yeah,
this
probably.
respectfully, but I feel like the crowd and that energy in that stadium, it fed into those players. Like in overtime, the defense, like I mean, I know someone brought it up about COVID and the noise, but I mean, it could be a valid point, even though he has played phenomenally in Arrowhead. And that's really the only thing I will say about that is because he's had all these great games in one of the hardest places to play in football, officially the loudest place to play in football. So I mean, I don't think it's like it's not that he can't play on the road, but I mean, at home, it's a different animal for sure.
All right, final game on our 6-game slate of picking games. It's the second Monday night game at 8:15. The Steelers host the Browns. Tommy has the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game after getting clobbered by the 49ers. Where are we at?
Who's home? Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Still give me the Browns.
I'm taking the Browns too.
Yeah, I'm the Steelers, preseason, whatever. I got sold, they had like a snake salesman or whatever that term is. Like I snake oil. Yeah. I mean, they sold me a phony fake product. I saw Kenny Pickett. The team was like, oh, they're loaded up on talent. But a lot of the talent they got are still young, unproven talent that has to maturate. Like, they really don't have any skill players on offense. Like, Pickett is good, but like,
I know, and
I
I
don't
know
know,
you hate
like-
Najee Harris.
yeah, Najee
Like,
Harris is a
with the
bum. He's
freaking passion.
terrible. I don't think Freiermuth is all that either, really. Like, I think he's like a good player, but like they don't have like an elite skill possession, like an upper echelon. Like, I think Pickens is just like maybe a bigger Juju, if anything. Like, I don't see him as being that alpha number one receiver.
I think he can. I
don't
be
know.
that
I don't see the route running. Like, he's physical, he's fast, he makes crazy catches, but I feel like,
I mean, with Diggs isn't like.
I mean, he would be a good number 2, like, but I don't see him like
one.
as like a true number 1. Like, he's a good compliment, but I mean, and then Deontay Johnson can't catch touchdowns. Al Robinson is not good. Like, I mean, Kenny Pickett, let's be honest, like he's not all that good. Like, they might try to keep him for a couple years, but I don't really see him being anything more than another Baker Mayfield type quarterback. Like, they're gonna really have to get a better run game, and their defense is supposed to be their calling card, and they got smashed by a more physical, better football team. And the Browns have one of the best offensive lines and the best run game in football. So I think it's going to be a similar result. And that defense, if they can make Joe Burrow look like that, what do you think they're going to do to Kenny Pickett? Give me the Browns easily.
Yeah. Give me Myles Garrett.
There's no Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You could say T. Higgins is similar to Pickens. I'll take that, but there's no chase across the field from him. They shut down all 3 of them last week. So
yeah, take me Myles Garrett. Crossing over. I've in Kenny Pickett's face. Like that was freaking hilarious when he was doing that.
I mean, he's probably gonna hit another Steelers quarterback with a helmet by the end of that game.
Yeah,
I'm kidding, but
yeah. And
I mean, metaphorically, he's gonna hit a Steelers quarterback with his helmet because of how much they're smashing the Steelers.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was trying to say with Diggs is that like it's not always speed and like
Mhm.
physicality that's gonna win. You need the route running.
Yeah.
It's not always like the hands. You need the route running
And that's
skill.
one of Davis's biggest issue.
Yeah.
He's not really a very technical and refined route running. He doesn't have the little nuances or the explosiveness that Diggs has.
Yeah. Yeah. Diggs. I just want to give a shout out to Diggs because
Yeah,
I
shout out to
freaking
Diggs.
love that man so much. What he said about Allen today, that's his quarterback, and how he was hyping him up and stuff. Like,
That was on the Voncast.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to go back and
Mhm.
watch the replay of that.
yeah. I freaking love him so much.
Yeah, no, I love Diggs. He's always been one of my favorite players before he was on Buffalo.
Yeah, but are those all the games that we got?
Yeah, still
Yeah.
have to pick my team. I just sit here and enjoy the rabbit holes we go on, and just listen how much they just carry on. But yeah,
Go ahead.
giving the Browns. I'm sorry, Ty. We're all leaving you on the hook on the Steelers, but like, come on. I mean, what
It's gonna
the
eat its words next
49ers
week.
defense did to the Steelers offense. Kenny Pickett's not going to bounce back and
And that was
magically
their
take
home
him on a merry
opener
ride.
too.
And
Dude, he freaking
That was their
Brock
home
Purdy
opener. They
freaking
got,
raw them.
they got destroyed at their home opener. Like that's supposed to be one of their like games they show out for and they're prepared for.
yeah, they're. I just feel like Miles Garrett's just gonna run all over Kenny Pickett. Just give me the Cleveland Browns, and they're gonna go 2-0, and they're probably gonna win by like 3 scores. Sorry, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who's calling that game.
Yeah,
But that's all the picks.
I want to see another. I mean, I guess I don't because the Chiefs Lions game was good. Bills Jets wasn't good from a neutral standpoint and from a Bills fan standpoint just because of it was a roller coaster and it was ugly, but the cynical part of me wants to see like a 12-9 field goal fest on Monday Night Football next week. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just miserable because the Bills lost on Monday Night Football. I don't want to see
I mean,
a
we
great
get 2
game.
Monday night
But
games
I mean,
next
if we're
week.
being honest, I don't even think it will be that's the AFC North for you in a nutshell. It's physical, low scoring games. Like I mean, it's probably not even like a pipe dream to say it's gonna be, both teams are gonna score under 20 points because they probably are. It's probably gonna mean the Steelers
Mhm.
don't have a high flying offense, at least based off of week one. I mean, the Browns are just gonna run and try to dominate the line of scrimmage. So yeah, it's gonna be probably an ugly, slow game.
Yeah, I don't
Nope.
see like the way that the Browns played. I think the Bengals kind of let them get away with some stuff. But I don't know if Mike Tomlin, after the performance from last week, if he's going to let his defense, just slide under the radar and let the Browns bully them. It's going to be a hard fought defensive game, kind of like what the Bills was. What the Bills Jets game was.
Right.
But we got our picks in. We'll see how it looks next week. We got Bills Raiders coming up.
Yeah,
There's
hopefully we have, more better football to talk about next week instead of just, talking
100%.
about the negative and, Josh isn't the answer, this and that. Like, let's get back on the positivity train. Let's get everything going. It's week one. We're on to week two now. The Chiefs and Bengals and Chargers lost. The NFL's not for long. You got to have a short-term memory. You can't just, keep dwelling on one game. You got to move on. Like, it was one game. You made a mistake. Like, every team, there's only one winner and one loser each week. Like, you got to go to the next week, focus on the Raiders. So I think that should be the Bills' mentality, and I think that they should have a very successful game on Sunday.
Yeah, and I actually might go to that game too.
I'm going.
So we'll.
I'm going, so maybe I'll see you there.
Yeah. And my dad's got tickets from one of his work friends, and he just texted me today saying, "Hey, like, if we got an extra ticket, do you want to go?" I'm like, Sure. I'll make sure I get all my homework done. I have an exam due this week. I have even an exam due on Sunday that opens tomorrow, but I think I'm just gonna try to duke it out.
Yeah,
Uh,
get it done as quickly, so you can, go to the game and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
Get
I
that
can't wait. This is gonna be my
game.
first home opener, so
Uh,
it should be
Me too.
crazy. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah,
I'll be watching like 20 steps that way on my bed, so that's where
Nice.
I'm watching it. That's where I'm watching the home opener Monday. Enjoy if you guys are going. Enjoy it. It should be fun. I mean, I don't know if we're going to I don't know if we're going to stomp them or not, but hey, I mean, I think we're going to get treated to a good game. I think Josh Allen's going to do Josh Allen things, and we'll see where reactions land in a week. You know, where are we at with the Bills in
There's
1
always
week's
week one
time?
overreactions.
Right. Yeah, and I want to know what the weather's going to be like, actually. How about we go over that? I mean, I know it's Wednesday, but what is the weather going to be like in Orchard Park?
It's
on
been
Sunday?
60s and partly cloudy all week. I would think that's what's going to be the
Sun
weather this week. It's been like 65,
nice.
partly
69.
cloudy.
25% chance of rain and a 1%
Perfect.
chance of thunderstorm.
Oh, never mind.
1% though.
Oh, why does it say 82%? 82%. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't know. I just went on some random website. I googled forecast.
I'm
Oh wait,
Yahoo.
I'm waiting for my weather channel app to load.
Daytime high is 73 degrees, and this is 25% chance of rain. Yeah.
Yeah, it says overcast with rain showers at night. A slight chance of a rain shower, but honestly, cool.
It says 25% here, so I'll
Okay.
say 25%. So it should be fairly good weather. 73, still pretty nice. But yeah, home opener. Let's get to 1-1. I'd like to see New England knock off Miami this week. And then the Jets, they'll just fall apart, unfortunately, because they're stuck with
They're gonna get destroyed
the
by
MILF
the
Hunter. But they can enjoy the MILF Hunter, and hopefully they'll get Rodgers back next season. We'll see where that goes. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think the Bills are still in fine shape, and let's go on to week 2 and get a W, and then just start stacking them up. So
yeah,
we'll be back.
Sorry, do we want
You're
to put a wager on who we think what free agent quarterback the Jets are going to pick up?
Oh, that's a good thing to talk about real quickly. I'll say
I will put a
I think
wager
it's Colt
on
McCoy. I think it's gonna be Colt McCoy.
Wager on Colt McCoy. Colt
Yeah,
McCoy
something tells me Colt
for
McCoy.
Jacoby Brissett.
I don't see Carson Wentz going there. I don't think the team. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really strike. I mean, I know Joe. I think Joe Douglas. He either was from Philly or Baltimore, maybe both. I think he was on Philly, so maybe he was part of the draft process. That's a familiarity with Wentz, but I don't really see him being a Robert Saleh type guy. I don't know. I feel like he has too much baggage. I don't know. I mean, that would be the most upside one, probably the best option. But from what it sounded like they're just sticking with Zach Wilson. So they probably want someone who's really not gonna be a threat to take his job and who's just gonna hold a clipboard, and that's Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy or Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. What do you think, Paul?
They're gonna. I feel like they're gonna stick with Zach Wilson as long as they possibly can.
But what are their veteran signing? Because Robert Saleh said today they're signing a veteran.
Oh, so it's probably going to be. My best guess is probably along the lines of everyone else. Is probably Colt McCoy, Jacoby Brissett, somewhere around there.
I agree.
I mean, Tom Brady is out there, but he's not coming.
No,
there.
Yeah, they already said that's not happening. Kaepernick had interest. The Jets did not.
I have a hot take.
What's that?
Joe Flacco. He's still a free agent.
I don't think it's hot. I read
He was there
yesterday
for
he
several
expressed
years.
interest in returning. It
Yeah.
really comes down to the Jets if they want him back.
Hmm. Yeah, so
Phillip
they only have
Rivers.
one quarterback on their roster right now, and that's Zach. I thought it was freaking hilarious last.
They're
game
gonna
night.
they're gonna elevate Tim Boyle. I
Tim
guess
Boyle.
that's what Salah said.
Okay. But I thought it was funny during the game. They're like, if like Zach Wilson comes out, like who's gonna be the quarterback? They have no other quarterback.
Yeah, it
to
was
elevate
Randall
it for the
Cobb.
game. Randall Cobb. I was like thinking, oh my god, like please, honestly, let's get Randall Cobb at quarterback, and like imagine like he throws a pick like what's his face? Who Leonard Leonard Fournette try to throw a pass?
I
to
think
Tom
Kelsey
Brady.
threw a pick at one point too,
No,
but I
this
don't
was
know.
the Bucks game. It was like
I don't
it was-
remember.
I forget who they were playing against, but oh my god, I think it was like versus the Niners or something like that, and like they had Tom Brady out wide, and I think Leonard Fournette tried to throw a pass to him, and Brady slipped and got
Oh,
picked off.
it was against the Seahawks.
Yeah,
Germany.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like Kobe Bryant like picked them off at one point. But we're gonna have a lot of news coming up regarding the Jets free agent quarterback expedition. There's some injuries that are going on with the Raiders this week that we want to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
so
that's definitely
look
gonna
for
be
reports on
something
that.
to look towards. One more quick note. On a positive note for the Bills, they don't have any injuries or new injuries. Mitch Morse, the injury report is a thing of beauty. It's a clean sheet, literally just Mitch Morse, which is probable. Like the Bills are as healthy as can be. So, knock on wood. Let's hope that continues. And let's win. Let's win on Sunday.
Let's win, please.
Yeah,
just for everyone's sake of Buffalo, just do it. Just win.
Just win, baby.
I don't
As
want
Al
to think.
Davis said, right? Just win, baby, and it's against the Raiders, so just win.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be pretty. Yeah. And tomorrow we have the Buffalo Basement podcast. They'll give their perspective on week 1 as well as on week 2 as well. So that's at 7:00. We'll be back here next week at the same exact time. So thank you everyone again for tuning in. Go Bills and have a great night.
Go
Go
Bills.
Bills.